Hi everyone. All right, it's on. Okay. Hi everyone. Welcome to today's live session of POPxo Daily. And I am Raagini, the e-commerce fashion and product stylist here at POPxo. Today's live session is about thoughtfully creating your closet. And like in the previous live sessions, we together helped decode our personal styles a little, and we did that by creating visual reference boards or mood boards. And carrying that theme forward, today's session is about mindfully or thoughtfully putting together your closet. Before I talk about this more, I came across this quote by Xenia Sherney Scanlon, who's worked with the UNEP, and she said that we're buying more and more of them and wearing them less and less, them being clothes over here. So let's address the big why. Why should we thoughtfully create our closets? So I've been coming across these videos on sustainable fashion, on slow fashion, on boycotting fast fashion brands, and moving towards sustainable fashion pre-lockdown, and especially more after the lockdown. Also, I think how the question should be, how do we address this on an individual level? So basic content that I come across, especially as a stylist, I come across this content every day, almost everywhere, which is about styling your basics or wearing your basic outfit in different ways. So I think that already also really stems from the idea of being thoughtful and mindful of what you buy, and also it's more realistic and practical because everybody on a daily basis can't wear things that are really outlandish, and somehow they're not practical. So it's easier, it's simpler to be revamping your looks or coming up with new looks with basics. For example, even in my first video, I remember I styled this basic black t-shirt in 5 different ways for our different moods. So moving forward, I would also like to talk about being more conscious as consumers, and not making the impulsive buy sort of a thing that we do very often. So that also is a part of why should we thoughtfully create our closet. And even if we are really focused as consumers, it's very easy. I think it's just human tendency to get like carried away by what you see online and the vast amount of content we consume on a daily basis through our Instagram, Facebook, social media, etc., etc. So even in our daily lives, I feel like, sometimes if I'm out somewhere and I see my best friend wearing something, I might just go like, wow, that looks so good on you and I wish I had that. Or if there's some really cool photo shoot that you've seen and you see some celebrity that you really admire wearing a piece of garment or carrying an accessory that looks really cool, your instant reaction is that like, wow, where did she get that from? Which brand made this? And I really hope I can make it a part of my wardrobe really soon. So I feel the question that we should ask ourselves, especially when we are looking at something that we feel is really trendy and we want it to be a part of our wardrobes, the question should be that where are we going to buy it? Are we even going to where are we going to wear it? Are we even going to wear it on a daily basis, or is it just for a one-off occasion that we won't be repeating it? Or are we just buying it simply because we've seen somebody whose style we admire wearing it? So that's the question that we should ask ourselves before clicking on that buy button, or just buying something, for the sake of it, and then like telling ourselves later on that, oh, why did I buy it? I don't think I'll be wearing it at all, and it just ends up lying in your wardrobe for months on. So even though I'm a stylist, for me, my work requires me to move around a lot. It's a lot of field work, go sourcing, find things, go for returns. On shoot days, I have to just constantly be on my toes, fix garments. If it's a product shoot, then physically, do the setup. And if I have a choice of purchasing a pair of footwear, and I have to choose between, let's say, one pair of black sneakers and these really trendy metallic heels that I've been eyeing for a while now. So, what should my choice be? Of course, the black sneakers, because that'll serve a greater utility purpose for me, and I know I can revamp it, wear it in different ways. I can also wear it with a lot of outfits, and I just tell myself, all right, fine, I have a basic pair of black heels, and I don't have to dress up for a lot of parties or social events, especially like nowadays, like where will you go, right? So I'll obviously opt for the black basic sneakers, and they last me longer because I can also revamp them because they're so basic and simple. I can quirk them up a little. I could probably add on a different pair of laces. I could add on a badge, or I could simply, do some sort of a spray paint. So DIY I also feel is really the key for not only anyone in the creative field, but for people, most of us out there. Try your hand on DIYs and channelize that inner creative kid in you. So before I talk about, how should we thoughtfully really create our closet, I am going to show you these two piles that I have over here. So this one pile is of by basically only t-shirts right now I'm going to talk about, only casual wear of tops or clothes that I have that I haven't touched. So this is a pile of just casual tops I haven't worn in the last three and a half months, and even pre-lockdown I don't remember wearing them. And here is a pile of t-shirts. I don't even know if I should be calling it a pile. They're literally like 4 or 5 t-shirts I've been living in and day out. So there's this research study by UNEP which says that you only consume 1/5 of what's there in your wardrobe. And thanks to this topic, I started, drawing out t-shirts and casual tops that I wasn't wearing. And I realized that the pile of t-shirts that I don't touch at all is actually 3 times greater than the pile of t-shirts I'm actually wearing. So for me, I think it'll be a good idea to, style new looks with the t-shirts that I don't wear so that they last me longer. And if I actually know how I'm going to wear them, I will make an, and I've already thought of new ways of wearing it. So might as well give that a shot. So also, I feel the key here is to really move towards a capsule wardrobe. So capsule wardrobe essentially means that you're incorporating fewer garments in your wardrobe. It doesn't mean that you don't have a lot of styles or varying styles in your wardrobe. It basically means, let's say, if you're somebody who has to dress up a lot with formals, right? So you have to be in office, you have to attend a lot of meetings or online video calls that require you to dress up in formals. So your capsule wardrobe will essentially have, let's say, three crisp shirts, 2 good trousers, 2 to 3 pairs of formal footwear, maybe 2 blazers, and some accessories, right? So how does that help us? I mean, you'll be wondering that, in total already you have 10, 15 things there. So how is that really sustainable? Invariably, I think if let's say I know I have to dress up in formals, so if I'm going out and I come across this really interesting white shirt or top, I'll tell myself that, oh wow, I've seen a lot of people wearing white shirts, but this one really stands out. So I might, go and buy that. And by the time I come back home and I put it in my wardrobe, I'll realize that actually, I already have 5 white shirts, and now maybe I think I need something in blue, or I need like a darker color. So you'll still have that need of, or that want of, going ahead and buying something which is different, though you've already just bought a new top. What a capsule wardrobe does is it leaves room for different styles. So in turn, each piece in your capsule wardrobe is something that you have a use for, you'll be wearing it. And because you'll have limited number of pieces, but a varied option of different styles, you'll try to put them together in different ways, come up with new combinations, come up with new looks for yourselves. And that really leaves room for experimentation and, channelizing that inner stylist in you. So the key here is to not just fall prey for a lot of trends out there in the market, because there are so many consumers and so much is being manufacturing nowadays that all trends don't cater to one person, right? That's when decoding your personal style really comes in. So you can streamline the process of what you want to buy vis-a-vis what you don't want to buy. Now I'm going to tell you a couple of tips on how to thoughtfully create your closet. So when you say it out loud with me, how should I thoughtfully create my closet? I think you already know the answer, but just in case if you're wondering, here are a few tips. The first tip is to really decode your style preferences and know what you like. How do you do that? In my previous live sessions, I discussed about creating visual boards and mood boards, and we did that through putting together swatches of different fabrics, colors, prints, textures, and putting photos of our style inspiration and our style icons, and then decoding our personal style with a couple of keywords, and making an understanding of the occasions we have to go to dress up for, our daily lives, our personal routines, etc. So really, streamline the process of picking out things for yourselves by decoding your style. That's step one. Step two would be to really organize. So I think organize is the key. Most of us clean our cupboards, organize our cupboards, uh, depending on the season that's changing. So do that as well. If you get time during weekends, organize your cupboards then. Or if you're someone who's really organized otherwise in real life, and you can sustain your cupboards very neatly in an organized fashion for months on, then do it once in 2 months or once in 3 months. What organization does is, so I never really thought of, organization being a factor when you have to thoughtfully create your closet for one of the 5 essential points that I'll be sharing with you today. But I happened to open my brother's closet, and my brother's 14 years old, and I found a huge pile of shorts, t-shirts, his cricketing gear, his pants, shirts, everything jumbled up together. And that's when I realized that, back in school, I also had a really jumbled up sort of a closet. And whenever I had to dress up, I would always toss out so many things onto the bed. Or I would go to my mom and I would ask her that, have you seen this top of mine? Or go and search for it in the laundry. And then just come back to my closet and, find it lying down in one corner. So that would waste a lot of time. By the end of it, I would be super annoyed because I would have wasted like time and energy, and I would have spoiled everyone's mood. But um, that's where I think organization really comes in and really helps. So organize your cupboard according to what you wear the most, what you wear the least. Organize it according to different styles. I'm sure most of you already know it, but organize your casual wear separately, your bottoms, your tops, or your occasion wear separately. What this really does is it leaves room for you to declutter, so you exactly know what you have, what you don't have, and you can indulge in some guilty pleasure by just passing it down to your younger sibling, because they're always eyeing your clothes, and you're always like, I might as well use it for a little longer, and then I'll think of giving it to you later on. So if it's something that you're not using, pass it down to your younger sibling. Or if it's something that your younger sibling cannot use, feel free to give it to your domestic help or to an NGO or to an organization whose work you really believe in. Otherwise, I also know of people who've actually used their fabrics, their leftover fabrics, or fabrics that have worn out a little, to make bed sheets or to make pouches, bags. So upcycling is also the new trend. I think it's really cool to upcycle products that you're not really using on a daily basis for a new purpose or for another utility purpose. So that's step two, which is organization of your wardrobe. Step three is making a wish list. So I know this sounds really exciting, but it actually boils down to you sitting down with a piece of paper and pen and jotting down only the things that you really need. So only once you've organized your cupboard can you have more clarity on what's missing and what works for you, what you really want to buy. So jot that down. And guys, your wish list is not your cheat list. So you cannot write down everything that you really want, but things that you really actually have a need for, and for a fact that you'll be using them. So jot that down. And also, most importantly, we do write down things that we really need, but we don't write down other things. We don't set aside a budget for what we want to buy. We don't write down where do we want to buy it, when do we want to buy it. So those things are also really important. And during this process, what also happens is, when you write down where you want to buy it from, you can also do a little bit reading up or research on the brands you're buying from. Are they fast fashion brands, or are they brands that are more ethical? They pay their laborers proper wages, they have more ethics, and the material especially that you're using. So focus on the materials. Is it organic, or is it something which is really synthetic, and a lot of chemicals have been produced while manufacturing one piece of that outfit. So once you've written down the things that you really need in your wish list, the tip that really helps me is procrastinating. So not procrastinating things literally, but procrastinating shopping and buying. Most of us keep delaying things that we have to do on a daily basis. So, might as well also delay shopping or clicking on that buy button and making an impulsive buy. So reevaluate your wish list, let it be for a while, come back to it after a couple of hours or a couple of days, weeks, whatever works for you. And maybe in that time, you realize that it's something that you don't want or something that probably is fading out of fashion and you don't want to buy it. And you can tell yourself that initially when you look at something you might really have that instant attraction towards it, but as time passes you can probably tell yourself that all right, this top is very basic, or it's something which is nice, but do I really have a need for it as of now? And reevaluate your wish list of shopping in your clothes. So that is step 3. And procrastinating is the key, guys. Like, we do end up, procrastinating a lot of other things, like might as well procrastinate shopping. So that's step 3. Step 4 is to really invest in basics, lean towards buying more of basics. As a growing up kid and somebody who wanted to become a designer, and in the end I went into styling, but I would really look at pieces which were very quirky, which were more outlandish, and they really stood out. And most of the times I would have this huge pile of things that I thought were very statement pieces and were very unique, but on a daily basis, I would have nothing to wear. So invariably, like, if all moms say this, even my mom would tell me that you have so many clothes, you buy so much, but why is it that when you have to really, get ready for some place, you take so long, or you're very confused about what to wear, or you're always constantly complaining that, I have nothing to wear. So this is when I realized that I never really bought basics. I never really bought a good pair of solid black or solid white t-shirt. Did I really have a well-fitted pair of jeans? So invest in basics, and this doesn't mean that you have to discard everything that's already there in your wardrobe. The key to thoughtfully creating a wardrobe is to make do in the best way possible with your pre-existing outfits, and being innovative and being creative. What this does is it leaves room for channelizing the inner stylist in you. So you can come up with different looks with your pre-existing stuff in your wardrobe, come up with new looks, mix and match, pair different items or different pieces in your wardrobe. Even if it's something that you've seen someone wearing, you might have not tried it on. So give that a shot and get a little innovative with your basics or your pre-existing pieces. And I think it's really cool to going back to borrowing from your grandmom or your mom's wardrobe, or just probably asking your friend, like we would earlier back in school, that that top of yours, I know you wore it a lot of times and I really like it, so just please give it to me also, and I'll wear it and I'll give it back to you sometime. So borrowing and lending, I think, should be definitely the new trend. Don't be unsure, or don't be lazy. Like, call your friend, tell her this is what you want to borrow from her, and try it on. So I also have this little story to share with you. A couple of years back, my sister was here in town and we had to go shopping for Indian kurtis for her. So while we were doing that, I was wearing this cape, kaftan sort of a thing on top, and I'd belted it up. So though we were shopping for her, I kept on bugging her with this same question, that do I look all right? I hope this thing is not too out of place. And I kept fixing it after every 2 to 3 minutes. And by the end of it, she had to tell me that, look, I mean, why do you buy things that you're not comfortable wearing? So I've had my share of experiments with clothes. And I think the question that really arises is that how do you know what suits you and what doesn't if you've not really, bought it and worn it? So the answer to that would be that fine, experiment, but also you don't always have to experiment after you've bought something. There are a lot of websites and online portals out there that help you rent outfits or rent garments. It's a little bit of more effort, but definitely if you are someone who wants to thoughtfully create your closet, you do this. You will rent outfits, you will rent accessories, try them on, see if they work for you or not, and then accordingly make the purchase or return them. Otherwise, I mean, nothing like it if your best friend or someone in your family already has a product that you want to try on. Ask for it, borrow it, try it on, and take a call. Otherwise, sometimes if you have a set budget aside, it's cool to, probably go ahead and make that purchase if it's something you really think you'll be wearing, or if you feel that if you won't wear it, you're very sure of passing it down to your younger sibling, or you're sharing it with your best friend, or sharing it with your mom. You could do that. And yes, the last tip was to being innovative with styling your outfits in different ways. There's a lot of content out there. If you're someone who's constantly on Instagram, you could probably try saving a lot of posts and making a separate folder on things that you really like. And otherwise, if you're someone who has a Pinterest account, you could go on to Pinterest, start pinning clothes, accessories, or your style inspiration into Pinterest boards, and thereon, building on that. And though it's really cool to be aware of trends and what's really trending, but I think it's equally cool to know your style inspiration, know more about them, and follow people who are more conscious about what they are buying, where they are buying it from. Know more about the brand that you buy from. That's really important. Brands that leave room for transparency. Check out their pieces, their items, and support indigenous crafts and local crafts as well. Also, like Vivienne Westwood said, that buy less, choose well, and make it last. That's the motto. And I think thanks to this live session, I came up across some interesting talks, and I'll definitely be incorporating it in my wardrobes, in my personal life. I hope all of you can also do that in your personal lives, and mindfully create your closets as well. Before signing off, I have these couple of pieces that I want to show to you, which are upcycled or reused fabrics. So I have this denim pouch over here, which is completely made of patchwork denim that was discarded. And I think it's really cool, it has a lot of room for storing in things, and at the same time, you've used fabrics that you would have otherwise just thrown into the dump. After this, I have this interesting bag over here. So sometime back, my mom was, revamping her upholstery of the sofa, and because the fabric had worn out and faded, so instead of discarding the covers, the sofa covers of or the upholstery, she decided to come up with these jute bags. She got these really basic jute bags stitched. I hope you can see them here, because the fabric was still very strong and sturdy, and you can really use it if you are going out to buy groceries, or if you want to stuff in a lot of heavy things. So this is one bag. Also, like everybody has their personal styles. I had these cotton stoles, which were really pretty, but a lot of people do wear cotton stoles during summers, but somehow I couldn't, find myself wearing those. So I used the cotton stole that I had. Instead of just letting lie in my wardrobe, I actually got a shirt dress stitched out of it, which is right here. So not only did I, make use of the fabric that I had, I also had a lot of fun drawing a rough sketch, getting it stitched, and of course, in turn, wearing the short dress that I have. More so, I also had these cotton stoles that I did not find myself wearing. So I got these two tops stitched out of them, which one is here, and the other one is right over here. So of course, it requires you to be making a sketch. It requires you to be going to your local tailor and following up with him or her, and some effort. But I think that's the key to thoughtfully create your closet. Along with this, I think it's totally cool to be going back to wearing outfits or pieces that your grandmom has knitted for you. So my grandmom has been knitting sweaters for a while now, and my winter wardrobe is completely full of these hand-knitted sweaters that my grandmom made. So here, and there is one here as well. I have a couple of more of these. And yeah, winters basically are spent wearing these hand-knitted jumpers that my grandmom made. So look at your grandmom's closet. I think vintage pieces also really have a vibe, and evergreen pieces, can of course be used more often than not. So a vintage watch, a classic pair of earrings, a silk scarf, or silk sari is something that you should be opting for. I think it's really cool to be wearing something from your mom's wardrobe or your grandmom's wardrobe. And you can also, become a little more creative. So if it's let's say a basic classic sari from your grandmom's wardrobe, you could take the sari, and like a lot of girls already do it, get a separate blouse stitched for yourself, and channelize the inner designer and stylist both together that you have. Also nowadays, I think I cannot end this live session without talking about the reusable fabric masks, so that are really made of katran or leftover fabrics. I think this is really cool. You're not only using leftover fabrics, but you're also upcycling them and making a product that has a lot of utility purpose. So I could not sign off before showing these fabric masks to you. I think it's really cool. So thank you for tuning in, guys, and I hope you put some thought into thoughtfully creating your closet. I know it's not easy, it's easier said than done, but just to start off with, put some thought into it, and surely, we'll get there. So thank you for tuning in, and for everything beauty, fashion, fitness, you can check out our POPxo app. Now I'll just be quickly logging in and checking the comments. So thank you. So someone has said, how about indigo dye? And someone's asked me, I have to reload it. Someone said, please give some tips if I'm not too wrong. Let me just reload the page. Thank you for your reaction, guys. So I feel some tips, accessories collection, please give some tips. All right, name some good indie clothing brand, please, for slightly older women. All right. Okay, so I'll answer the first question, which is accessories collection. Please give some tips. So for accessories, I feel accessories, upcycling used fabrics to accessories is the easiest way. Like I showed you this pouch over here, which is made of patchwork denim. You could use old fabrics, or, to come up with interesting accessories. It could be pouches, it could be masks, for example. A lot of people and designers are making fabric masks from the katran or the leftover fabric that they have. Otherwise, if you're talking about, let's say, a scarf or a nice cotton stole, then I'm sure, a lot of you have fabrics left over from suit pieces or from saris that you've got stitched but had extra fabric lying over. Please use that fabric to come up with other accessories. Even things like belts can be made out of leftover fabric. So you can use cloth belts, you can use stoles, pouches, masks, especially. And the second question was, please name some good Indian clothing brand for slightly older women. So I have a couple of names in mind. I'll be dropping the answer to this question after the live session. Of late, I've been, looking a lot at Ikai, and I've been looking a lot at Nicobar. Also, Torani, if you have heard of it. Torani also has a lot of sustainable reused garments and with a lot of concept and storyline behind it. So these are a couple of brands that you can look at if you're especially for older women who are more into Indian clothing. And I'll be dropping in more names that I feel are lean towards more sustainable and slow fashion. Also, thank you for your reaction, and for everything beauty, fashion, and fitness, you can check out our POPxo app. Okay, someone's also asked me stone jewelry collection brand. So Zareen has been my favorite, and they have really good designs. They have designs for all sorts of age groups, and they also give in a lifetime plating guarantee. So check out Zareen, guys, for jewelry. They have good stone jewelry collections. And all right, thank you. Bye, guys. Stay safe. Take care. Thank you for tuning in.